Andrew in Los Angeles, California. Andrew, what's up, brother? How we doing?
Hey, how's it going, John?
All right, man. Hey, it is early out there. You sound like you're a cash, brother. You doing all right?
Yeah, no, I haven't slept much, so...
Man, I hate that for you, dude. So what's up? How can I help?
Okay, so a little over 2 years... I'm 25, and a little over 2 years ago, exactly 3 months after I got married, I was working and I suffered an accident where someone ran over my feet and crushed my nerves and left me disabled for the rest of my life. I'm constantly in pain, and I guess what I wanted to ask is that I've been diagnosed with like P.T.S.D and anxiety, and I struggle really bad with it. Constantly have episodes with triggers, things that such as the things that I got ran over with, and
what'd you get run over with?
Someone used an electrical pallet jack and bulldozed a bunch of pallets over my feet. And yeah, I mean, I'm grateful. If I fell forward, if I had fallen back, I would have fallen into a giant garbage compactor and probably died.
Yikes, man. So are you able to walk now?
I use a wheelchair and I use crutches.
Okay.
I'm limited.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's just been really hard on me and my wife. My wife has been great, but I constantly deal with nightmares, night terrors, waking up screaming, waking her up, freaking her out, having anxiety attacks. I mean, I was doing pretty good there for a while, but even on Sunday, I got triggered and I just can't help it, and I don't really know how to work on it. Man,
well, I appreciate your vulnerability here and saying this stuff out loud. Okay, how have you tried to move on? What are some things you've tried to do?
Well, I went through counseling for a while.
Okay,
but I couldn't keep up with paying for it, so I'm in the middle of doing Social Security. I want to get back on to therapy and stuff like that, but I come by 3 times a month out of my own pocket. So, I mean, yeah, it is what it is.
You do what 3 times a month?
I have a therapist come to my home and work with me 3 times a month.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So there's several things here, but I want to get right to the crux of it, okay? So this happened how many years ago?
A little over 2 years.
A little over 2 years.
It's been such a crazy thing that's happened, because it's not like I was worse from the beginning. I actually got worse with time, and I listened to the doctors, and with practice, I got worse. Unfortunately, they stuck needles in my foot and made me worse, and pain got worse, and things like that. It just and even all the while, life was crazy. My brother died from an overdose, and I had to push through my pain and made my foot worse through all that. And it's just, I have a pretty high pain tolerance, so it is what it is, but I do the best I can. I don't work anymore, but it's just this constant fear of my wife is going to leave me, and these constant nightmares, and it's the constant nightmares of the accident, or even some where it's I want to kill my dreams, in my dreams I want to kill myself.
Yeah.
And it's just this accident has really made things hard.
Yeah. So
mentally, I've never experienced it.
Yeah, man. All right, so I'm going to be pretty direct with you. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay. At some point, whether that's today or whether that's in a year, whether that's in 3 years or 10 years, at some point, you're going to have to come to terms with this is your life. And you have not yet. You are continuing to live in the I can't believe this happened part of this. And make no mistake, this sucks. I hate that it happened to you. You're a victim of this thing. You were just standing there minding your business and somebody ran over your feet. It happened. And it's awful. and it has altered the way you will live your life, maybe even forever. And then there's a period at the end of that sentence. And the next sentence to be written is you're sitting there with a pen in your hand. And right now, the sentence you are choosing to write is, this sucks, this is miserable, she's probably going to leave, this sucks, I can't believe my brother died, this is miserable, this sucks, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Mm-hmm. And all of that is true, and it's not doing one thing to make your situation better.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are ready, here's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to fully grieve what was. You were a 23-year-old guy. You had just gotten married. It was party time. You were living it up in Southern California. It was on, it was on, it was on. And then suddenly it wasn't. There's a period at the end of that sentence. And you're going to have to be around people who will grieve that with you. Grief has to be seen by others, or it just goes inside. And then you're going to have to decide who you're going to be on the back end of this. You cannot, at 25 years old, cash out from working.
Mm-hmm.
We have too much innate value in contribution. And if you live a life where you aren't contributing to your community, to your country, to a job, to your spouse, you will implode from the inside out and you will drown everyone around you, yourself included.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to be about, what meaning am I going to make from what happened to me? Am I going to run an e-commerce business? Am I going to work from home? Now that COVID's happened, anybody can work anywhere for doing anything, right? Are you going to learn a whole new set of skills and use this time at home and crank it out and be on disability a short time and get back in the workforce? Because I bet you've got a story to tell, and I bet you've got a bajillion people to inspire. And I bet you can do just about anything you want to because you've persevered and you've overcome this. Right? But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself this one question. Are you ready to move on? And for some reason, you're not.
I guess it's just been hard because people constantly be telling, and I know they're trying to be positive, but like, oh, you're going to walk again one day. You're not going to be in pain one day.
Hey, listen. You went right to what other people are telling you. And I want to know what Andrew's telling Andrew.
I don't know. I'm afraid I'm going to be stuck like this.
Okay.
So I was told I was going to be permanently handicapped the rest of my life.
Okay. So here's the thing. Let's say that you are. Let's say you are permanently handicapped the rest of, you are in that chair for the rest of your life.
Mm.
Are you done? 25, you're cashed out?
No.
You're just going to give up? That's it?
No.
What are you going to do, brother?
Honestly, I before this happened, I had dreams of, I met my wife in Bible college, and I eventually wanted to go on and work in a church and work eventually one day be a pastor. And
okay.
All that came to a halt when we left our church about a year ago. Now we're starting. We just started going to a new one, so kind of starting over right now.
So every single thing you just mentioned, you can do from your home. You can go to seminary from your house. You can watch a bajillion YouTube videos and learn how to speak. You can create a podcast from your house. You can do home ministry. People can come to you. You can go to them if you're mobile. You can write. Okay. You can start a blog called Living Through Pain. You can do a million things, Andrew. But right now you're blinded by the voices of other people pumping you up. You're blinded by the voices of other people cutting you off at the knees, literally, right? So you got one group of people saying, oh, you're going to be playing tennis again soon. And you got other people saying, you will never get out of that chair again. And
I got other people saying, why don't you just cut off your leg? So
there you go. Right? So here's the person who's nobody's listening to, especially Andrew. And it's Andrew. And you have to decide who goes in your box, who are you going to listen to from this point forward. Nobody else gets a vote. And then you start with that pen in your hand, brother, creating what today and tomorrow is going to look like. And it's going to hurt, and it's going to be frustrating, and there's going to be setbacks. And what's going to happen is you are going to inch down that road, right? Like the tortoise in the hare, you're going to inch down that road and everyone's going to be flying by you and you're going to keep inching and keep inching and keep writing and keep taking seminary course after seminary course and applying for jobs and not getting them and keep applying and reaching out and getting a coaching certificate and along the way, you're going to talk to your wife and be vulnerable and say, hey, today kind of sucks. And then when days don't suck, you're going to say, how can I honor and love you? Because you're not going to keep leaning on these emotional crutches. You got your physical crutches. You're not going to keep leaning back like, I know, honey, but 2 years ago, you're going to say, cool, let's figure this out. And when you hurt, you're going to keep trying and you're going to listen to doctors. Yeah, okay, some doctors screwed up. You go to the next one, right? Find online those body movement coaches and begin to get some flexibility back in your hips and your knees, right? Whatever it takes. Because here's the alternative, Andrew. Just sitting in the chair, man. Just sitting in the chair.
I've been working on that. Been pushing myself to do things more physically lately. I mean, last year I was like completely like confined to the chair. Now I've been using my crutches, sometimes even going out just with crutches.
So you're seeing a little bit of movement, right? The tortoise is slowly starting to... Okay, there you go, brother. But hey, you're talking about physical stuff. Tell me about your soul, man.
Yeah. It's like, that's where I'm struggling. Like, I can't control, like, the nightmares that I have. I can't control... I mean, I have sleeping aids, but I don't like to take them because they make me feel hungover pretty much. Okay,
so here's the deal.
And then...
Listen. PTSD, anxiety, depression, those are all alarms that tell you that your body's setting off, that this thing is still happening, that you aren't safe, you don't have a community around you, right?
Mm-hmm.
In these nightmares, these loops, there are some pretty clear and relatively simple ways to stop those nightmares, okay? But it means you have to be highly intentional in the daytime. So when you have this nightmare, I want you to wake up and write it down. It takes the power away from it when you put it on a piece of paper. During the day, I want you to write down the most recurring nightmare, right? The one that you are, that forklift is coming right at you, that front end loader is coming right at you, right? And what I want you to do is I want you to write it down, but this time I want you to change the ending, that it misses, right? That somebody blows the whistle and the whole thing stops and you're safe and you walk away. I want you to write that down on a piece of paper, and then I want you to read it a couple of times a day. And what's going to happen is your nightmares are going to be released. Your body is going to go, whew, Andrew's back in charge. Because right now, Andrew's not in charge, man. You cashed out. And that's okay. I understand. You suffered a bad trauma. And so what your body is trying to do is take care of Andrew because Andrew's not taking care of Andrew. And so every scary thing in the world, it's setting off every alarm you got. When you're asleep, when you're awake, when you're not paying attention, it sets off your anxiety. When your anxiety's up, it wants you just to get under the covers and sleep, right? With that depression, it is trying to take care of you because Andrew's not online. And you got to bring Andrew back online.
Mm-hmm.
And that means you got to grieve what happened. Decide, there's a period at the end of that sentence. It happened. And now what is Andrew going to be about in the future? Who is Andrew going to be? And that is an emotional, psychological, spiritual exercise where every day you're writing down a gratitude journal. Every day you're writing here's who I'm going to be today. And then you're going to be really graceful with yourself. You're going to have a community of people with you. Who's walking this with you, man?
My wife, and then I just had a couple of my friends just come back from the military.
That's awesome.
And they didn't really know how bad things were until we sat down and talked. And
awesome.
Now they're trying to be there for me, and they check up on me now. And
so once a week, you're going to have a group called Andy's Army, and y'all going to get together for drinks or hanging out or having coffee or tea, whatever it is y'all do. Y'all going to do it once a week. And you're not always going to talk about the accident. You're going to talk about what's going on in each other's lives and your marriages and whatever. And listen, sitting there every day wondering if she's going to leave you, is going to certify one thing. She's probably going to leave you. Instead of it's anticipatory anxiety, right? You are projecting a fear into the future and you are worrying about it now as though it's happening.
That's the thing though, like every time that I've thought about this, she reassures me that that's not going to happen. So
Okay.
like, there's no indication that that would happen in real life. It's just like a subconscious fear that I've had since the accident.
Yeah, and here's the deal, man. Your body has experienced the worst, and so it is mining any possible future worst and trying to protect you from it now. And what it's going to do is drown everybody around you. So instead of worrying about when that thought pops in your head, she's going to leave you, I want you to say out loud, nope, she's here for good. And I'm going to be an incredible partner. I'm going to be a great husband. And you and her are going to already have talked about these things y'all are going to do together. Right? So you're talking about being a husband, talking about possibly being a dad, talking about getting back into the workforce, being somebody who leads other people. All of this is beautiful. And the PTSD, the anxiety, the depression, listen, your body is working perfectly. It is trying to take care of you and protect you. It is trying to care for you because you got hurt bad. And so what you have to do is let your body know, let your wife know, let your buddies who just got back from the Army, who are going to start coming over to your house once a week to hang out, let everybody know Andrew's coming back online. And that starts with picking up that pen and writing the next chapter of your story. And it's going to hurt and it's going to suck and you got to have people with you and you're going to keep writing and you're going to keep writing. And there's going to be weeks that you get buried and you write nothing. And then you're going to pick that pen back up and you're going to write a gratitude journal again. You're going to write your affirmations again. You're going to keep working on your physical body. You're going to keep working on your head. You're going to read books. You're going to take online classes. You're going to contribute to something. And you are going to decide at 25, I'm not cashing out. And to those of y'all listening to this, at 35, at 55, at 75, I'm not cashing out. Life is made up of tragedy and trauma and ugliness and brokenness and accidents and somebody treating you bad. That's life. And that's why we have other people in our lives. That's why we try to take care of ourselves. And then we got that pen, that lonely, lonely pen, to write the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Andrew, I believe in you. And as you walk through this, I want you to keep in touch with us as we keep going, all right?